Hello and welcome back to Scholastically Natalie, where we talk about books, writing, D&D, and sometimes entirely other things. So, if you don't follow me on Twitter, you should. I don't have many followers on Twitter, just like I don't have many followers on YouTube. But I'm just Scholastically Natalie over there, where I post rarely because I don't really understand how Twitter works, but sometimes I guess I have some sort of insight. Anyways, I said, hey guys, I want to try doing some Inktober stuff where I draw some pictures and then maybe write responses to the prompt or the picture that I have drawn, which might have been a mistake with the last picture I drew. But I thought it sounded fun. I draw sometimes. I'm not great at it. It's not something that I've ever put in a lot of effort into making better. But I'm good at copying things, I guess. I like redrawing anime scenes, well, manga scenes. Anyways, so the prompt for I'll preface this better. I'm doing Woodland Magic and Inktober prompts by SmallTownSpells on Tumblr. I searched up some different Inktober prompts, and I've downloaded quite a few, so if I like doing this and I finish out the Woodland Magic ones, we'll be switching to other things. That's all I got for you. And I apologize, but my computer's decided that microphones don't exist, so it's having to use my inbuilt computer microphone, so you will be hearing typing. I think you heard some of it last time that we were doing this. If you hear something in the background, my fan is running because I have been extremely hot all day. I think that's all my preface. So the prompt for this was wand, which I have drawn in pen, questionably, up above, emitting some nice magic-y smoke. So I guess we can write a short bit involving a wand. On the first day of every month, a new wand appeared. They didn't create it, even though they were a renowned family of wand makers. I should capitalize that. They had dedicated their lives to learning the intricacies of woods, stones, crystals, and minerals, and how they fit with the other sigils of their coven. Grandfather, of course, specialized in ancient Wiccan symbols, ones that he had restored from aged and moth-eaten manuscripts left by the covens before them. Aunt Mirabelle, the oldest sibling, worked exclusively with wood. All other materials rejected her, some explosively, but her carvings were unlike any other. In both power and beauty. Uncle Ivan, a rather stern man, Mel did best with stones. He was able to draw granite, oh no, and sandstone into beautiful spires that waited patiently in their storefront. For their partners. Mother was the one who couldn't carve. She had married into the family, and didn't have that special blessing to make conduits that the rest of their line carried. However, she was the one to deal with the final touches. She polished all the wands, found them their perfect boxes, lined with just right shade of crushed velvet and circled with just the right sigils, sealed the perfect lock and key. Father was perhaps the most versatile of the rest of the family. He often began and abandoned projects in all sorts of materials, experimenting with decorations and runes, as they came to him. Often, another member of the family was left to finish his wands as he darted off to collect mosses and geodes and feathers. They all worked, each in their own special groups, each in their special... nope. Each with their own specialties. As one dedicated, profitable family business. Their store was tall, an attic that stretched into a Gothic spire, held all of their delicately and perfectly placed wands, organized and kept clean by Mother. the storefront itself held a few example wands. No more than 3. They were picky like that. They being the wands. But it was mostly filled with display cabinets, nesting chests, and bursting baskets of various ingredients and supplies. Any customer in their right mind was nervous upon entering the room. Not because the environment was intimidating, but because so many small, breakable things littered the exposed surfaces. What didn't want to break? You took ash, thinking it was you, and be forced by, I think I said it was Uncle when that was Aunt Mirabelle. Be forced by Aunt Mirabelle to fetch her more from crotchety old ash in the forest. It often thought those who wanted supplies from it and many returned with empty hands to Aunt Mirabelle's disdain. Wands were an essential part of the coven. They channeled power of each and every witch that held them. Some were more reluctant. Some were in disarray, and others were broken. But a witch was nothing without their wand. Whatever condition it may be in. The wand makers were the only ones I don't like this section. Oh man, my computer sounds like it's ready to take off. I'm getting a little toasty there, friend. It's because I'm making you record this. You seem to not like recording things. So, the family did not enjoy interacting with their customers. Even Mother didn't have a wand. To craft. Hated to be disturbed from her attic where all the wands roosted. So it was left to young Lillian and her dog, Toby, to deal with the public. She was small, barely able to see over the counter, stretching on her tiptoes, to write down sales in her books. Toby was an essential helper. Not essential helper, essential assistant. Rushing to and fro for the attic and the room with boxes stacked on his back. He would bark at complaining customers and allow pats from the polite ones. All the while accepting young Lillian's recommendations on wand materials to try. The wand makers were strange. Perhaps as all wand makers are. But to their coven, they were a blessing of strangeness. Many traveled from faraway places to gain their own specially carved wand, having heard it call them even across the ocean. Their small coven has a lot of activity for its size. And members reveled in it. They had a house full of mad geniuses. In the center of their woods. But their geniuses brought them only good things. And those good things would continue. As long as the wand makers could continue to make wands. let's read this over. Yeah, I think it sounds a little strange, but this is what happens. On the first day of every month, a new wand appeared. They didn't create it, even though they were a renowned family of wand makers. That's my prompt. They had dedicated their lives to learning the intricacies of woods, stones, crystals, and minerals, and how they fit with the other sigils of their coven. Grandfather, of course, specialized in ancient Wiccan symbols, ones that he had restored from aged and moth-eaten manuscripts left by the covens before them. Aunt Mirabelle, the oldest sibling, worked exclusively with wood. All other materials rejected her, some explosively, but her carvings were unlike any other in both power and beauty. Uncle Ivan, a rather stern man, melded best with stones. He was able to draw granite and sandstone into beautiful spires that waited patiently in their storefront for their partners. Mother was the one who couldn't carve. She had married into the family and didn't have that special blessing to make conduits that the rest of their bloodline carried. However, she was the one to deal with the final touches. She polished all the wands, found them their perfect boxes, lined with just the right shade of crushed velvet and circled with just the right sigils, sealed with the perfect lock and key. Father was perhaps the most versatile of the family. He often began and abandoned projects in all sorts of materials, experimenting with decorations and runes as they came to him. Often another member of the family was left to finish his wands as he darted off to collect mosses and geodes and feathers. They all worked, each with their own specialties, as one dedicated and profitable family business. Their store was tall, an attic. Oh, there we go. This is where we start the paragraph. Their store was tall, an attic that stretched into a Gothic spire held all of their delicately and perfectly placed wands, organized and kept clean by Mother. The storefront itself held a few example wands, no more than 3, they were picky like that, but was mostly filled with display cabinets, nesting chests, and bursting baskets of various ingredients and supplies. Any customer in their right mind was nervous upon entering the room, not because the environment was intimidating, but because so many small, breakable things littered the exposed surfaces. One didn't want to break a twig of ash thinking it was you, and be forced by Aunt Mirabelle to fetch her more from the crotchety old ash in the forest. It often fought those who wanted supplies from it, and many returned with empty hands to Aunt Mirabelle's disdain. The family did not enjoy interacting with their customers. Even Mother, who didn't have a wand to craft, hated to be disturbed from her attic, where all the wands roosted. And so it was left to young Lillian and her dog, Toby, to deal with the public. She was small, barely able to see over the counter, stretching on her tiptoes to write down sales in their books. Toby was an essential assistant, rushing to and fro the attic and the main room with boxes stacked on his back. He would bark at complaining customers and allow pats from the polite ones, all the while accepting young Lillian's recommendations on wand materials to try. She was a strange girl, even for the wand makers. One with translucent hair and galaxy eyes, far-seeing and impossible to contain. She could take one look at a witch and to know exactly what they needed. However, she hated to talk, so she would only tell Toby one ingredient at a time. She often rose before dawn to organize the chaos in the storefront. She barely improved it, shuffling around baskets of dried rose petals, jars of moon water, and canisters of kosher sea salts or Himalayan salt. result, depending on what witches had come recently. She would painstakingly totter across the room, and the massive book of sales clutched in her thin arms, rough letter binding. Rubbing against her fragile skin. This was her way of relaxing, before even Toby rose, to prepare herself for the day. And on the first day of every month, she would open the front door, thin, spindly broom in hand, to find a wand on their front step. It was never a wand that one of the family had made. She would know their craftsmanship anywhere. These wands were different. They came in an array of materials, sigils that varied from Egyptian to Inuit, decorations sourced from every continent. Many were impossibilities. Mint with holly, lavender with obsidian, materials that never agreed when her family put them together. Perhaps they were gifts. Perhaps they were curses. One could never be sure with wand makers. The sheer variety of what they received. Diamond, bead, indicated everything and nothing at all. The family never knew what to make of the wands. They never sold them. Had yet to see anyone who needed those wands. Instead, they rested in a glass case laid on beds of crushed velvet and sprinkled with salt. Surrounded by candles they never lit. And the case is pushed in a corner of the front shop, almost unnoticeable. In all the mess, I need a drink. There we go, that's a lot better. Sorry guys, if I talk for a while, I start getting coffee. And today I'm for once not drinking Dr. Pepper while I'm recording. I'm drinking Fettiman's traditional rose lemonade, which is quite tasty. And it had yet to draw anyone to it. The young Lillian could always hear a low murmur from that direction. But the wands hadn't found their purpose. Or perhaps their purpose was just to sit in the family's storefront. Either way, young Lillian looked forward to the day one of them would cry out for its partner, and its partner would be able to answer. After all, she had never told her family about the first wand. She had received watching as Toby bounded over to the glass case, pressing his warm nose against the glass. The faint murmur growing louder. As the dog huffed, the glass never fogging, never streaking, despite his contact with it every morning. Family was important, after all. Okay, this is my response to this prompt. I guess it's kind of a weird response. This is really what just sprung into my head for this. Let's see how many words do we get out there? 970. It's not bad, almost 1,000. And I really just let this flop around how it wanted to with my brain and how I was writing it. Tell me what you think of this short response. Feel free to also respond in the comments to the prompt of wand. If you want to respond to my drawing, feel free as well. I hope this was an entertaining video for you. I've been being a bad human about updating and uploading things. I apologize. I really have just been complete crap at recording, mostly because now that I don't have a microphone, I'm kind of like, the sound quality is going to be so bad. But I'm afraid we'll have to put up with it until I figure out why my computer is hating me. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you respond to it too, or at least you have enjoyed my kind of long response and talking wise, short response writing wise, and at least find this a little bit more interesting. Let me know if you liked this and I'll continue doing it. Let me know if you're interested in something else that I've been working on and then of course not working on. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Scholastically Natalie is out.